Remember, so we already know rigid body. Definition we already discussed, which has definite shape and size. Anyone, can you define what it means, rigid body? Anyone? Anyone? Yes. Then we discussed about deforming force. Okay. And also we discussed a deformed body. Right? Anyone? Just interact with me. And we discussed one more. What is that? The very important, that is stress and types of stress we discussed. So rigid body means, rigid body, practically no body is perfectly rigid. So in generally we can say a hard object which has definite shape and size. Okay, but in reality what will happens, so we can stretch a solid, we can compress, we can bend by applying a sufficient amount of force. Hence, for a moment we can't say solids are, okay, perfectly rigid bodies. Remember, so the condition will apply here. Okay, then deforming force. Deforming force means a force is required. Why force is required here? To deform a body. So it means to change its shape and size of a particular body. So that body itself is called deformed body, and required force itself is called deforming force. Remember, I hope you understood. Then stress we discussed. In stress, what we discuss? Stress is nothing but it is a restoring force. It is a restoring force divided by area, per unit area. Then yes, correct. Capital F you have to write, Prithvi. Why? Because in physics, remember, there will be a lot of difference between F and this F. So this is frequency. I hope you remember all these things. Yes, correct, Sana. So this is force. Okay, lot of difference will be there in between these two notations. Be careful. Okay, in physics I am telling. Okay, see, restoring force divided by area, it means restoring force. I already explained all these things in previous class, right? So restoring force means a force which is responsible for what? Force is responsible to bring a body to its initial position. That type of force is called restoring force. So for example, if I took one, okay, body, if I applied a force, if I applied a force in this way, then it will stretches in this way. It stretches in this way. Okay, it means applied force is, this is the applied force. Remember, this is the applied force. These are nothing but applied force. But restoring force is always towards its mean position. This is nothing but what? Restoring force. Let us consider F dash. That is nothing but restoring force. Restoring force means a force which is responsible to bring a body. Yes, bring a body to its initial position. So that is called restoring force. We already discussed all these things. Then remember the types of stress. What are the types of stress? So we already discussed these things, right? So anyone, can you tell me what are the types of stress? Types of stress. In that, the main thing is, first one is longitudinal stress. Okay, briefly I am explaining all these things. You already studied all these things. Yeah, yes, longitudinal stress. So then one more is tangential stress, and last one is, anyone, bulk stress. Okay, bulk stress. Remember, longitudinal stress, which is related to length. So we can say there are two types. One is tensile stress, and one more is, anyone, compressive. In tensile stress, what will happen after applying a force normal to the body? So its length will be goes on increases. Yes, correct. But compressive means if I applied a force normal to the surface area, then what will happen? It gets compressed. Okay, that is nothing but compressive. Then tangential force, we already know. So if I applied a force at tangent to this body, so at one particular direction, if I applied a force, the body get displaced and it will give you some angle theta. Okay, so that is nothing but, okay, tangential stress. We can say this is delta x divided by L athwa H, whatever it may be. Okay, whatever. Then bulk stress. Bulk stress means we have to apply a force. So for example, once we immerse a body, or we can say once when we applied a force on a body, okay, throughout the volume, yes, then what will happen? It gets compressed, okay, due to a large pressure. Okay, so that is nothing but bulk stress. Next, we already discussed strain also. So anyone can you tell me what do you mean by strain? What we discussed in last class? Strain. Strain is nothing but it is the ratio of change in dimension, change in dimension to the original dimension. Original dimension. This is nothing but strain. So, but remember always, so note this point, stress is always a scalar, but last class, okay, so many of you told me it is a vector, but remember students, scalar quantity means it tells only about magnitude, not a direction. But for a moment you get confused. So what happens is stress, how much force. So for example, see, in first PU level, let me to explain in this way. So but remember, actually stress is a not scalar, not a vector, but it is a tensor property, but it is not your level. Okay, so that's why I not explained all these things in previous class. It is a tensor property. Why? Because I will tell you what it means. You can Google it, this one. Okay, tensor, it comes in higher level. Okay, don't worry. So you just keep it in mind. For your level, just treat stress is a scalar quantity. But remember, in physics, in reality, it is not a scalar or vector. It is a tensor. Why? Because, see, for example, if I applied a force in this way, then what will happen? Due to this force, so that force, or we can say the pressure will be distributed. So in different directions. So for example, like this. So you can't say here whether it is scalar or vector. Vector means one particular direction, right? But it is showing 2 to 3 directions, right? Two different direction, multiple direction it shows, right? So that's why, so for a moment we can treat it as a tensor. So tensor of second order, if it consists of 2 direction, okay, so it is tensor of second order. But remember, in your syllabus, in your book, they mentioned only scalar quantity. Just keep it in mind, it is a scalar. But remember, stress which is equal to force, restoring force divided by area. Force is a vector. Yes, correct. It is a vector. Okay, but stress, it is a scalar quantity, remember. But strain is nothing but change in dimension to the original dimension. So it is, what is the SI unit for this strain? Yes, anyone? What is the SI unit? Unitless. It means why? Because remember in this case, why? Because so change in dimension. So for example, length by length, volume by volume. If I consider in that way, okay, it will gives you unitless, and also it don't have any dimensional formula. Correct, Shravan? I hope you understood, students. Then types of strain. Remember, in types of strain, we studied different strain. That is first one, very important, that is longitudinal, okay, strain we discussed. And we discussed one more. What is that? Longitudinal strain and one more. Anyone? Tangential strain or sharing strain, okay? Tangential or sharing strain. Third one, anyone? Volume strain. Yes, correct. Okay, so these are different types of strain what we studied. Okay, what we studied in my last class. So I just refreshed, okay, all these things. That's it. Detailing, we already discussed these things. Just go through that video. Okay. Yes. So some of the admitting, just wait. Yes. Okay. Then after this, we discussed Hooke's law, I think, right? We discussed about Hooke's law. What is that Hooke's law says? See, this is the very important concept. So, for exam point of view, Hooke's law. So remember, I already told you statement. What statement says? Anyone? You remember all these things? Just tell me. Within, yes, correct. Within elastic limit. Within elastic limit, okay, stress is directly proportional to, okay, strain. Remember the word here, within elastic. So that is very important things. Yes, correct. So means within elastic limit, the stress is directly proportional to strain. In other words, we can call it as stress is directly proportional to strain. It means when stress is increases, strain also increases. When stress decreases, strain also decreases. This is nothing but proportionality. So in other words, we can say stress, to remove this proportionality, we have to put some constant K into strain. In other words, we can write the same thing, okay? Stress by strain, which is equal to K. K is a proportionality constant, or we can say anyone, you remember what is this? A modulus of elasticity. So what is this? This is called modulus of elasticity. I hope you remember. Yes, correct. So then one more question they may ask. How can you define modulus of elasticity? Anyone? What is the definition for this modulus of elasticity? Modulus of elasticity is defined as, what is that? It is the ratio of stress to the strain. It is the ratio. Simple. See, it is the ratio of stress to the strain. Okay, that is nothing but what? Modulus of elasticity. Let me to write modulus of elasticity. If you want, you can write all these things. Okay, so briefly I will tell you. It is the ratio of, okay, stress to the strain. Okay, stress to the strain. What is the SI unit? Can anyone tell me what is the SI unit for this? What is the SI unit? Anyone, students? SI unit? Strain. It, yes. Why? Because remember strain. What is the SI unit for strain? Is there any SI unit for strain? Is there any SI unit for strain? Tell me fast. No, it means it is dimensionless as well as unitless. So stress has its own what? SI units. What is the SI unit for this one? So Newton per meter square. So same thing comes here. Then dimensional formula, remember what you written for stress, same thing comes. So anyone, can you tell me what is the dimensional formula for this? L raised to -1, T raised to -2. Is it correct? Yes, Shravan, correct. Remember, this is the things. Then we have to know few more things about this one. So in your book they mention. So this modulus of elasticity, it depends on nature of the material. Remember this note point. Okay, different nature. See, modulus of elasticity depends on nature of material of the body. This is the very important point. Just remember all these things. Okay. Next. Okay. This is the thing. Remember, students, last class we already discussed a few more things which is related to elastic moduli, I think. I hope you remember all those things. A long gap. Okay. After long gap, I took this class. Okay. I hope you remember. So there are three types of elastic moduli. I hope you remember all these things. Yes, correct. Anirudh, good. Francis, correct. Yeah, correct. Francis. Yes, any constant. Sir already told you, right? Any constant you can take. It depends on material as well as temperature. Okay, keep it in mind this. Okay, keep it in mind. I'm not writing everything here. Okay, main points I already written. Okay, yes, keep it in mind. Any constant in physics, any constant it may be, it depends material and temperature. Remember. Okay, I hope you understood. Then okay, elastic moduli. What is elastic moduli? There are three types. So depending upon, okay, depending upon change in dimension, there are three types. So first one, let me to write Young's modulus. I hope you remember all these things. Young's modulus. What do you mean by Young's modulus? It can be represented by y. Yes, good, Sahana. So Young's modulus is nothing but it is the ratio of longitudinal stress to the longitudinal, okay, strain. We already discussed all these things. Y, which is equal to longitudinal stress, is nothing but F by A. I hope you remember all this. Divided by longitudinal strain is nothing but delta L by L. Is it correct? Then we can write it as FLA into delta L. Suppose, just try to understand. So if I connect a wire which is connected to rigid support, and if I applied here some load whose weight will be mg, which is downward direction, okay, then F can be replaced by m into g into L divided by A into delta L. So we are going to use this formula in problems as well as in competitive, right? So for example, yes, A. So for example, this wire has certain area A. Then how can I write? So why? Because mgl divided by pi r square into delta L. So that is nothing but y. So remember, we can modify in any manner. Okay, we can modify. So that is depending upon our, okay, requirement. Remember. Yes, correct. Next one, we discussed one more moduli. What is that moduli? Anyone? What is that moduli? So remember, in Young's modulus, so perfect rigid body, what is the Young's modulus for? Note this point. Okay, for perfect rigid body, Young's modulus will be infinite. That is, okay, infinite. That is for perfect rigid body. But I already told you there is no any perfect rigid body. But if, okay, in theoretically, if any rigid body comes, then it will be infinite. Why? Because there will be no any elongations. Okay, so there will be no elongation means, okay, change in length will be 0. So it will give you maximum, okay, value. So that is nothing but infinite value. Okay. Next one, we discussed one more moduli. What is that moduli? Anyone? Can you tell me? And anyone? Young's modulus. Second one is bulk modulus. Yes. Anyone? Bulk modulus, that is represented by B. B which is equal to, we can say it as F by A. Bulk stress by bulk strain. So in bulk strain we have to keep this negative sign. Why? Because it is compressed. Yes, correct. Okay, so in other words we can write F into V, okay, A into delta V. So F by A, so we can replace this in terms of, okay, in this way. P is nothing but what? Pressure. Pressure is nothing but, yes, good, Shravan. Yes, PV, V. So you don't neglect this one. Okay, P is there, V is also there. Okay, yes. So here negative sign indicates what? Here negative sign indicates that increase in pressure, okay, causes a decrease in volume. Okay, negative sign, let me to write, negative sign indicates that increase in pressure, okay, causes decrease in volume. Okay, as we increase the pressure, the volume will be goes on decreases. Okay, so this is the bulk modulus. So in same way, in bulk modulus, some points you must be remember these things. So bulk modulus for perfect rigid body, bulk modulus for perfect rigid body, here also, okay, bulk modulus that will be infinity. Okay, and also bulk modulus for ideal liquid, is also infinity. Both will be infinity. Remember, both are, practically it is not possible, but theoretically we can say in this way. Okay, so infinite, both are infinite. Next one, we can say a small concept is there based on this, that is called compressibility. Remember, I think I not covered this part. Okay, so let me to take here itself. Why? Because there will be a link between bulk modulus and compressibility. Okay, let me to explain in this way. Compressibility. Remember, based on this, you can expect some problems. Okay, compressibility can be denoted it as K. Remember, so some books they mentioned a small K. Yes, correct, Sevan. Okay, some books they mentioned a small k, some books they mentioned capital K. So don't worry. Okay, compressibility you can take one constant K. Okay, how can I define? Simple, with help of one, okay, equation we can say. It is the reciprocal of bulk modulus. It is the reciprocal of bulk modulus. We can say in this way. It is the reciprocal of bulk modulus. Remember, students, in this way, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? See, which is equal to 1 by B, or we can say is inversely proportional. If this is small and compressibility will be more. So when it is more, so it will be less. So in that way, see, if I consider any constant here, okay, so proportionality if I write, then remember SI unit. Anyone, can you tell me SI unit? SI unit for this, what is the SI unit for compressibility? Anyone, can you tell me? Yes, students, please, fast, make it fast, don't waste my time. Yes, good. So what is that SI unit? Why it is Newton per Newton meter square? Why? Because that is 1 by bulk modulus. Remember, 1 by bulk modulus. So that's why per Newton meter square. So bulk, for a bulk modulus, what we written? Bulk modulus, what is the SI unit? Tell me. What is the SI unit for bulk modulus? Just make it fast. What is the SI unit for bulk modulus you written? Yes, Newton per meter square. Yes, correct. So it means 1 divided by Newton per meter square. That is nothing but once it goes numerator. So n becomes, this is 1 now. So once it goes numerator, n becomes n raised to minus 1. So m raised to minus 2 becomes, okay, m raised to 2. So after reciprocal, I hope you understood. Okay. Yes. Remember, here we have to note few points. Solids are least compressible than liquids, but gases are more compressible than liquids and solid. Because, why? Because the bulk modulus for solids are greater than that of liquid and gases. Let me to explain. Let me to write this one in brief way. So this is very important. Solids are least compressible, okay, then liquids. This is very important. Then liquids, the nature will comes here, but gases are more compressible, okay, than, okay, liquids and solids. Because you can write a reason for that. Bulk modulus for solids are greater than, okay, than that of liquids and gases. Remember, so some value is given in your, okay, book. Just go through that value, okay, then you can conclude yourself, okay, why it is greater, why it is least, why it is less, okay. So some value is given in your book, okay, just go through that. For a compressibility, for a solid, liquid, gases, different value is given. After comparing, we can conclude in this way, okay. I'm not going to write all those value, okay. So it is given in your book, NCERT textbook. Just go through that one, okay. So then last concept of what we discussed, the shear modulus. Remember, in shear modulus, what will happens? Once we applied a force on a body get displaced. As we know, shear modulus, this is the one of the modulus, or we can say one more name, modulus of rigidity. This is also correct. Both are correct, okay, or I have to write, okay, modulus of rigidity or shear modulus, we can write it is the ratio of shearing stress by, okay, shearing strain. So in other words, we can write F by A. We already discussed last class. Shearing strain, that is nothing but, okay, delta X divided by L or H, you can say. So remember this is nothing but what? Tan theta. Tan theta, which is equal to delta X by L or delta X divided by H. For small theta, for small angle theta, how can I write a tan theta? Tan theta, which is, okay, nearly equal to theta. So that's why, so after this, we can simplify in this way, delta X by L, that is nothing but theta, which is equal to delta X by L, or we can say delta X divided by H. So it means this is theta. So G, which is equal to, for a moment, we can write it as in this way. Remember, this is the rigidity modulus, or we can say shear modulus. I hope you remember. Okay. So students, anyone, can you try this? What is the SI unit for this again? SI unit? Anyone? Why? Because units and measurement, that is over, right? You already written all dimensional formula, you know, SI units, right? So importance of SI units, all those things you already studied, right? Just can you tell me? Yes, Vinuta, correct. Shravan, correct. What is that? Newton per meter square. So this is the SI unit, students. Okay, then note this point. Okay, this is very important. For an ideal liquid, okay, Share modulus will be 0. Okay, Share modulus for ideal liquid will be 0. Okay, remember all these points. Okay, yes, these are the points. Okay, you have to remember for competitive as well as, okay, theoretical. Okay, let me to explain one concept. A small concept is there. Okay, until, okay, elastic moduli we already discussed in last class. Until this, right? Up to this we already discussed. But remember, one more concept is there, that is nothing but Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio, 1 mark they may ask this, define Poisson's ratio, or what do you mean by Poisson's ratio? Remember, Poisson's ratio, simple definition I will tell you. Poisson's ratio, it is the ratio of lateral strain to that of longitudinal strain. Lateral strain to that of longitudinal strain. What it means? Yes, lateral strain to that of longitudinal strain. So for example, let me to take one example. So for example, this is a one wire. Okay, if I took this much, okay, diameter wire is there. If I applied a load here somewhere, okay, this is mg. Okay, after stretching this, so this is the length, this is the original length of that particular wire. It has diameter d. Okay, so after stretching, okay, what will happen? The same wire will gives you, okay, the same wire will becomes in this way. It means somewhere, okay, yes. What happens in this case? What happens? Yes, correct, Anirudh, good. Diameter goes on decreases, length is goes on increases. Remember, diameter decreasing here, length is increasing here. So that's why the two word comes here, that is called lateral strain and longitudinal strain. Strain, it means what? Change in dimension. So here one is lateral, means change in diameter. So one more is change in length. So in other words, we can say diameter is decreasing here, so lateral strain is nothing but change in diameter to the original dimension. So here decreasing, diameter is decreasing, so negative sign, divided by longitudinal strain, we already know change in length, okay, to the change in length to the original length. Remember students, all these things. In other words, we can write this one minus L by D, okay, delta D by, okay, delta L. So this is nothing but Poisson's ratio. Sometimes Poisson, some books they mentioned sigma. The notation for this one is sigma. Okay, sigma is nothing but what? Okay, Poisson's ratio. Okay, so remember, what is the SI unit? Can you tell me what is the SI unit for Poisson's ratio? What is the dimensional formula for Poisson's ratio? Anyone? Yes, good. So SI unit, there will be no any unit. Okay, no unit, and also it is dimensionless. Dimensionless quantity. Remember students, these two things you must be remember. It is a dimensionless as well as it has no unit. But remember, few more points I want to share with you. Okay, just note these points. It is very important for a competitive also. So theoretical value of sigma lies between, okay, -1 and 0.5. Okay, in practically, in actual practice, the value will be, it is never, we can say, it is never negative. Remember all these points. Okay, so you just underline these 2 points. Okay, okay, practically and theoretically it will give so, okay, different value, remember. Then for steel example, if you want, for steel it is given in your book also, the value for Poisson's ratio lies between 0.28 to 0.30. So in between this one. Okay, for aluminum alloys, that is a mixture of different materials. Okay, so sigma ratio will be 0.33. Remember, 0.33. These points you must be remember. So this is not asked in board exam, don't worry, but so in competitive you may get this one. Okay, yes, I hope students you remember, you understood all these things, right? Yes, one more derivation is there, we'll see that. Okay, derivation, yes. Okay, remember students, one more I want to ask you, that is